I'm a self-taught filmmaker. I never went to film school. I never studied filmmaking in any way. I started making films when I was a kid, when I was, I think, 7 years old. Making films using my dad's Super 8 camera and little action figures, doing stop motion films, a little bit of animation and a certain amount of live action. And I just carried on making films as I grew up. And over the years they got bigger, hopefully better, but more elaborate. And there never really was a period in my life where I completely stopped doing that. So I was always moving up eventually from Super 8 to 16mm films. And then I think what following represents is kind of the peak of what I was able to do on my own or just with friends, just using our own resources and borrowing equipment and sort of using the things around us to make a film. While I was a student running the College Film Society along with Emma Thomas, my wife and producer, we tried to make various different films, and some of them quite ambitious, you know, shot in color and so forth, and, you know, tried to do quite long form stuff. And the problems you would encounter, the things that stopped the film being something that you could really put in front of an audience, really technically finish or creatively create something that an audience could really go with and not be alienated by the low budget qualities of it. We learned a lot in doing those things that we were eventually able to try experimenting with short films where you stripped it down and you said, okay, if we shoot black and white film stock so that we can get a bit of an expressionist style cheaply and quickly, if we do it predominantly handheld camera, so we're not trying to ape larger movie-making techniques with the dolly and so forth and things that actually require very expensive equipment, can you create a very stripped-down, very tight production machine that would then be applied to making a feature film, where you sort of learned, in a sense, how to make a short film in a weekend, like Doodlebug or Larceny, these short films we worked on. You'd shoot it in a weekend, and then you'd edit it and whatever and put it together. When we came to do following, we were sort of shooting a short film every weekend. So it would be a 2-minute, 3-minute chunk of the film done every weekend, and that was the approach we took. When we were making Following, I was working in the field of corporate videos. I was doing camera work and sound work for media training sessions for companies and recording radio programs in a studio, that kind of thing. And I actually learned a lot doing that kind of video camera work. I learned a lot about going into an environment, using a couple of lights, setting up very fast, and then having to do something to a very rigorous schedule, because you'd be interviewing, you know, the chairman of some huge corporation, and he'd come in for 10 minutes and expect you to just run and then walk out, just like I've walked in here today. It's exactly the same thing. And you would you'd figure out how to do something that looked pretty good very quickly. And that was very much the production methodology we transferred over to the film we were making. So I would take a basic lighting kit with, you know, 3 redheads. On a big day, we'd have a blonde, you know, in a case, whatever. And we'd come up and we'd light the whole set with, you know, 3 or 4 lights, and do it very quickly.